Ever felt judged in the church? I have. Let me tell you my story. I was probably in my early to mid 20s, married with two kids. This was the first church that my family was ever a member of. It's where my husband and my two kiddos met the Lord and were forgiven their sins. So we'd been going there for quite a while, and we had become really good friends with the pastor and his wife and their two kids. Now, my husband has always been a good looking man, very charismatic. People are drawn to him. And during this time, he had grown the top of his hair out long and the sides of his head were shaved. And several women in the church, and I think they were probably innocent looking back on it, but there were several women in the church that would ask him if they could play with his hair, if they could take his hair down and run their fingers through it. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I was okay with that, because I wasn't. And honestly, back then, I was very jealous. So one weekend, we had gone to the lake with the pastor and his family, his brother, his wife, and their kids. And the three of us women were just floating in the lake. So while we're floating in the lake, we were, chit-chatting, and me being young and really probably just not knowing any better, I asked the two ladies how they handled having good-looking husbands and knowing that the women of the church saw their husbands that way. This was coming from a heart that really wanted to know, because I was struggling with jealousy. I was struggling with these women in the church who wanted to play with my husband's hair. What they didn't see was the innocence of my question, and that my heart was really in a place that I wanted to know. Instead, what they heard was another woman telling them that their husbands were handsome and that I was looking at them that way. And that could not have been any farther from the truth. What I discovered in that innocent exchange was that there were going to be people in the church who would judge me for my questions instead of coming alongside of me and helping me become a more fulfilled Christian woman and a secure Christian wife. Now, they never came out and directly said anything to me, but it became very clear later in their actions that they were challenged by my question, or maybe they felt challenged by me. I'll never know what exactly happened during that exchange, but I do know that I felt like I was judged. I know that it changed our relationship going forward. And honestly, to this day, even though we maintained kind of a friendship, that pastor's wife never had a great relationship going forward between our families, because that pastor's wife pushed me away. And I don't know if I had the right to feel judged by them, because honestly, I never asked either. I never went to them and said, hey, is this what's going on? What I did was go away. And I added this experience to a pile of church judgment and church hurt. If you have a church hurt or a time that you felt judged, let me know in the comments by simply posting, same. P.S. I'm Sarah.